Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the NFT morning. Today is what's the day today? March 25th, basically of 2025. And this is John. I'm super excited to be with you this morning, and I have the chance to be with my dear friend Rem. How are you, Rem?
Hello, yeah, I'm fine, and you?
Looks like you are waking up a bit, but super happy to be there and super excited because we have two super interesting guests today. We had the chance to have them already. I think last year or maybe already maybe 2 years ago, and so we have the chance to be with Marlene Corbin from La Collection. Hello, Marlene.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hello, man.
And we have Robert Alice with us also.
Hi guys.
Hey, Robert Alice. So yeah, I'm super excited to have you. I really wanted to thank you for being there with us this morning. And of course, if we have the chance to have you today, it's because I think for people who following what's happening in France and in the crypto art ecosystem more generally, we had the chance to have you for the first exhibition already in partnership with La Collection, organized at La Monnaie de Paris, and it was one of the most. I have a lot of superlatives in mind, to describe this exhibition, but it was really impressive, well done, a great collaboration, a lot of questions, and you are coming back. You are coming back, the same team, so La Collection and Robert Alice at La Monnaie de Paris
The
for
remake.
a remake. It's like
Yeah. The Avengers Part 2, baby.
it's like when the Avengers are coming back, basically.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like the opening scene in Ocean's 12 when they reassemble the team. They go around the world, they collect all the best people.
And
It's the art version of that.
Now Brad Pitt and George Clooney are back, so it's super
Exactly.
exciting.
Oh, you're too kind.
But really, it's super cool because when Marlene mentioned to me that you are doing it again, no, I think just to bring you back to this exhibition, I had if you haven't visited it, actually, it's good because you can catch up with the new one. But basically, La Monnaie de Paris and you, Robert, and you, Marlene, it was something very special, asking a lot of questions about the history of money, across times. What does it mean value? Having the link also with basically Bitcoin, and you've been doing this huge, beautiful blueprint, that were pretty impressive, like a printed version of this blueprint, actually, that I really appreciated, and I think a lot of people.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people remember that, and
well, there's more of them. They're coming back.
They are coming back. They are coming back.
Remastered, remade.
Okay.
So it was great.
Yeah, maybe just to remind us, because we just have a sneak peek, but of course, like a good movie, if you miss the first one, you can go to the new one. But just for the just for the previously, maybe Marlene, you can just give us the context about this first exhibition that has been organized.
Yes, of course. And maybe especially the blueprints, actually. But the idea of the first show was to create a collaboration between Robert Alice, obviously, and La Monnaie de Paris, but at a deep level. So we worked almost 1 year with the conservator of Monnaie de Paris, Dominique Antérion, who is a specialist and expert in money collections. And basically, the idea was for Ben to get inspired by elements of La Monnaie. It could be the building, it could be the collections, and grow a series of work that would connect to his DNA, his practice as a Web3 artist, and the story of La Monnaie and this institution per se, also more generally. And maybe if we speak a bit more about the Blueprint series, which is one of the series that was created. The blueprint was inspired by mapping of La Monnaie, but historical mapping that they have, especially of machinery. They have it as a very physical archive, especially cyanotype, and Ben was quite inspired by those. And basically, he mixed that element of La Monnaie with his own DNA and the concept of decentralization with the blockchain, and this idea of not only decentralization, but how exactly, so that's it, so it's more concrete. And this is Virunga that is there. So the physical, you can see the physicality of the machinery, and then the mapping and the coding behind that kind of merge together to create this artwork. And the artwork itself is not only in the blockchain, it's also very much physical. So we also have this kind of hybridity in the making of the artwork itself. And I think this project gave birth to a small amount of works, less than 10 works. And why are we also coming back now? I think it's really important also to start with that, is because one of the work of that series, called Garden City, has been acquired by Centre Pompidou. And so that's a key milestone for us, and showing how the project was recognized also by museums in the fields.
Wow.
We won an Oscar.
Yes.
I think we will keep this metaphor all along the show, I believe. You know?
Yeah.
You
We
know,
won a BAFTA, an Emmy, an Oscar, a Tony. It couldn't have gone better.
It's better. Actually, George Clooney never got an Oscar, actually.
Ah,
so, you
well.
know, it's no problem for you.
We're one ahead of him.
So, yeah, please, Robert, please.
No, so I mean, just to continue on that point, I think it was a very meaningful collaboration, artistically, and the curators of the Pompidou came to see the show, and out of that, you know, they don't make decisions fast. So like 2 years later, one of the works will go into the collection of the Pompidou, which I think is like really amazing. And I think a key to add to that is that it was acquired; it wasn't donated. And the kind of interesting thing there, I think, is that, you know, these NFT Web3 digital art collections, blockchain-based art collections, whatever you want to call them, around the world on an institutional level are being built. So you have the Pompidou in France, you have in America, MoMA, LACMA, SF MoMA, Whitney, Toledo, there's a few others. You have nothing in the UK, which is really interesting. Neither the Tate nor the V&A, which has one of the biggest digital art collections in the world, has acquired an NFT. But 99% of those collections have been built with donations, which is great.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but
it's still.
We are mentioning the fact. I think I'm pretty sure that for Georges Pompidou, it's the first, because of course, you know, we mentioned a lot of time, you know, their NFT collection, but I think 100% of this initial collection has been donation. You know, for example,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not sure. I don't know. It's quite hard to know. It's quite hard to figure out, but it's certainly like, I think you can safely say 99% of all NFTs in major institutional collections were donated, and usually donated by artists, and sometimes from collectors. And that's great. I mean, it still goes through a very rigorous process. Like it was a 2-year process. But you know, with NFTs, you have this curious question, which is kind of interesting, which is like, with physical art, museums are bounded by like storage and physicality. Like, you know, they've got to keep the work. You know, for a museum, and this is the beauty of NFTs, it doesn't matter if you have 1 million of them or if you have 5 of them, right? That doesn't cost anything extra. So the marginal extra like decision is reduced. And with museums, obviously their biggest limit is budget. And so acquisitions have always been this kind of like real, you know, it's kind of like a gold or silver medal, you can call it. It's been this real kind of like a vote of confidence, and that's like a really amazing thing for the series. And so yeah, so we're back. And I had unfinished business with the work. So we we're releasing a new body of work called they're called stasis fields,
Wow.
And I
Okay.
sent you
So
a PDF so we can have a look at them if you want.
yeah, we will have a look on it for sure. But just to finish with this Pompidou, it's your second work acquired by
Third, actually.
third work.
Yeah.
Because I remember,
Um,
they acquired the block.
So a block was donated by an American collector very
Okay.
generously. And so that went into the collection last year. And then also an NFT from a project I did with Taschen is part of what's called the Bibliothek Kandinsky.
Wow.
So which is part of their collections.
Okay.
So no, it's cool. It's like it's nice to build a relationship with a museum and then for them to have collected a number of different of your works. It tells a greater story.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's exciting.
Yeah, no, that's.
I'm celebrating with a cup of tea. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm celebrating with my morning coffee also. Now, congrats for this. And okay, let's go also. Let's go more into details about this part 2. So, Marlene, just the key information. When does it start? How long it's gonna stand? And what we're gonna see, basically.
Yeah, so it's going to start on 27th of March, so on Thursday this week, with a vernissage at Monet Paris. Everybody is welcome. So if you're in Paris at that time, please come and see us. And then the sales will start approximately 1 week later of the show on April 2nd. This time we've decided to show, as Ben said, so Stacey's Field, which is the new series that he developed, which is kind of the step 2 of the Blueprint series. So those artworks, which are unique, will be for sale as well from April 2nd. And we have, interestingly, an additional edition that is more grand public, I would like to say, and that is an edition of 100 that will also be launched on April 2nd in terms of sales. But the idea, maybe just globally before Ben goes into details, it was really to go further what he has done with the blueprints in terms of concept. And the blueprints, as I said, were based on archive from La Monnaie, connecting with Ben's DNA. And now it really went more into the theme of cosmology, of black holes, in order to really more extract us from those more like art historical framing and look at the global picture as well and try to find metaphor with what blockchain is today and how we could see it if we compare it with the structure of the universe, which is kind of like a very interesting point of view, I would say, intellectually, but also physically. And also Ben decided to make them both, both physical and digital as well, which I always find very interesting in his practice. Most of his artworks are hybrid. And I feel like all types of collectors connect to that because you have the Web3 one that will connect with the digital maybe more. The traditional art collectors that would maybe connect more with the physical component. But in any case, they are extremely connected and each of them is also super strong. And I'm really excited for you to see them.
It's exciting, and the first exhibition was exciting, and I think it's good to mention, physical, digital, but also visual and philosophical in a way. I think this is what is great, with what you, Robert, is doing. It's very stimulating in terms of asking questions. I remember the first exhibition was about the value, what is basically the question of the trust in the money. I remember this big chart, all along the time about. I think it was related to all the super
crises.
Prices and crises, basically economical crisis that happened all along the time in history. Since the Roman Empire, maybe, or something like this, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And it's really
turns out there's been a lot.
That's been a lot. It's super. It's
with
something.
That.
Yeah, and
money is so stable, right? Yeah. So these. I mean, I just said I shared you. Have you seen the PDF? Have you got the PDF? There we go.
Yeah, the PDF. Yeah.
My God. It's a beautiful artwork. This white artwork. What do you think?
I love this. I love this artwork.
Okay, if you scroll down.
Yeah.
So the series is called Stasis Fields. Um,
Okay.
John, do you want to just push down one? Push a page down. Can you push?
Yeah.
There we go. Go if you just go up again. The series is called Stasis Fields, and a stasis field is a term in science fiction, um, where it's like where time stands still. And I guess the original Blueprint series was all about rewiring centralized blueprints into kind of abstract network structures. And so this is a continuation of that, but it's more of a kind of mediation on the idea of time. And I think the core concept that the series deals with is the reality that before they were called blockchains, they were called time chains. And Satoshi, for the first almost year of writing about blockchains, called them time chains. And what does that say about the nature of, like, blockchain time chains? When Satoshi wrote the Bitcoin white paper, the most cited reference was on time stamping. And so, really, when you look at blockchains, they're not really a radical kind of recalibration of money. They're actually a radical recalibration of concept of time. And by that, I mean, for the first time in human history, we have a shared global state of time that is synchronizable and doesn't have to be depended on by a centralized third party. And that's kind of just like quite extraordinary when you think about it. So these blueprints, they look at, they're all about a kind of a philosophy of decentralization. They compare the kind of cultural decentralization of today with our oldest decentralized network. What is that, John? What is our oldest decentralized network in the world?
Ah, you're
You're on
mute.
mute. You're on mute.
Sorry. Thanks. I don't know. A universe.
Said it. Yeah.
The stars, pretty much. You're right.
No.
Yeah, so they compare the decentralization today with like our oldest decentralized structures. You know, if you look at a cosmological chart, a star chart, like it looks very, very simple, similar to the way that people draw decentralized network structures. But we kind of go one step forward, and so I think what blockchains do is they reassert this idea of absolute time, right? So, you know, Einstein said that time is relative. Kant said that time is absolute. Um, and there's been this big question in terms of the philosophy of time. Is time absolute and successive, or is it relative? And where can you go to explore that? And the structure that you can go is to a black hole, because that is where effectively time breaks down. Okay, it's where Einstein's equations of general relativity cease to work, and where you have a mediation on the idea of what a blockchain is. And I think that's kind of really, really interesting because, you know, if you travel towards a black hole, um, you hit what's called the event horizon. Okay, that is like the door to the black hole. Okay, once you cross that door, you cannot physically go back. Okay,
Yeah.
so the concepts of time and space, like they swap over, right? Space becomes time. It's not a variable of time. And if you think about blockchains, you have this kind of like absolute successive arc, a clock that ticks. In Bitcoin, it's every 10 minutes, right? Once that block is closed, once you cross in the event horizon,
We
there
will
is no going back. It
never
is
come back.
totally immutable. And again, for the first time in human history, we have that structure. And then once you cross the event horizon, Einstein's theory of general relativity slowly breaks down. Okay. And perhaps it opens up a space to say that maybe time is not relative. Maybe if we look at blockchains, time is absolute. The kind of key thing there is that, like, once you cross into the event horizon, there's this march towards infinity, right? And it's that infinity that breaks down Einstein's equations. And in many ways, what blockchains do is they have this kind of really interesting structure where it's like a past clock. So you cross the event horizon, it goes into this immutable data structure. but that data structure will continue or has the possibility to continue for infinity. And so basically you have these kind of like different moments in black holes that allow you to consider different philosophies of time. And if the event horizon, like what is the event horizon? The event horizon is the present, let's say. Okay. And the chain tip, the area where the block is open, right? That section is the present as well. So you have the event horizon and the chain tip, they're both the present. And within that present, life becomes very kind of probabilistic, right? Like Bitcoin or blockchains are both absolute once the block is closed. But then when that chain tip is open, like time doesn't really exist. It's probabilistic. We don't actually know when or if a new block will be created. And so you kind of get this whole mediation on what a blockchain is or a time chain is, how it interacts with our history of time, our concept of time, how it revolutionizes our concept of time, and how black holes and decentralized network structures like the stars are kind of like philosophically great antecedents to understanding how blockchains function. So that's kind of broadly the series. Each work is a pair of a large digital print that has been created with AI and generative algorithms. If you just want to get them up, I'll show you. So yeah, if you just go down, you can see some of the details here. And what's really nice with the AI is that it physically rewires the blueprints to look almost like veins, and you get this sort of sense of like almost like a living organism. And then if you go down a bit further, so yeah, the nice thing is the NFT is really amazing. So the NFT is, I mean, this is a still, but it's a 3-dimensional render of the physical work, and you can zoom into it, and within it you get this whole library of texts all about the philosophy of time, all about the history of blockchains, and they kind of splice together and re-render. If you just pop down another slide, you may be able to see it. I'll add the link. And so this idea is basically like, you enter this NFT, it updates every they can either be minted on ordinals or on Ethereum, and they update every 1 Bitcoin block or every 3 Ethereum blocks, and it will pull new text into the work, and it will draw and regrow a new black hole, and that black hole will die into a white hole every Ethereum block or every Bitcoin block, and then regrow into a new generative black hole. And so it's kind of like it picks up on a lot of the ideas from the last show, this idea of Babel, Borges's infinite libraries, this idea of blockchains as an infinite library, and these NFTs are kind of a site to pick up small fragments of text that influence the history of blockchains and mediate on the history of time. So yeah, done.
Wow. Okay, it's good to start like this in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Einstein's relativity before 9:30. Let's go.
No, I love it. Einstein relativity, a bit of Schrödinger blockchain theory. It's. I think this is what we love. With what you're doing. It's really, because it's all. I think this is what we love also with what you're doing. Everything is connected. You always have this question that is really like we are very. Everything you're doing make us feel like we are very, very small part of a big story. And if you unzoom a lot, you always have this feeling. When I see your work, asking question about, which point of humanity are we? Where are we on the timeline? And I think you always have this link in everything you're doing. Question about time.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think like I don't know. I always find I go the opposite way to the whole NFT space, which is like everyone goes forward, and then I'm like, well, I'm gonna go back. And look, I think blockchains are the latest, the next major breakthrough after the printing press. To not deal with the idea of history, with the idea of publishing, with the idea of libraries, with the idea of where these things have come from and contextualizing them historically. There's so much rich cultural history to deal with, and I think that framework is something that is quite unique, in terms of my particular practice. Um, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think like there's a sense that like blockchains and NFTs are this radical rupture with the past, and actually like in many ways they're just like a new way of doing old things. It's there's this long continuum as well, and that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, and I'm actually, I think it's also kind of connected, even, with the Taschen book project that you've been doing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what is, if you take it, out of the Twitter daily drama, what could stay, for a longer period of time, and
Yeah. The Taschen book was I consider it as part of the same practice. Like it's like I in my artwork I examine history, and then in these books I'm like helping to try and write it in the way that like I think is really important. So yeah, not many artists like are writing big art history books, but for me that's like it's part of the same point of view and interest.
I see. I see. And so, yeah, to come back, I'm zooming, and I recommend you to zoom. I'm zooming into walks, and I can see, yeah, maybe I will share
Yeah,
my
share your screen.
my
Let's
screen.
have a look at them.
I will do it the old-fashioned way. You will see on my screen like this. So, I'm zooming around, for example, here, and so we can see all of these are blocks number, basically.
Where's that? I can't see.
Oh, sorry. Why? Wait. I've been sharing the wrong way. Yeah, I need to do it like this. And sorry, let me share it.
You know what? I wonder if I can actually get you. Let me see if I can get you. Let me see if I can get you the link.
Can you get me? Can you see my screen now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, good. So, yeah, let me just zoom a bit more into the walk. You've been showing.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I just wanted to let people also visualize, because we have different circles, and we can see some block numbers basically.
Oh right, yeah. So those. Well, that's what I really liked.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so basically these are all the archival blueprints from the Money de Paris. And what's really nice is on each of those blueprints, it has an archival number with it, which is this 3838181.
Okay.
But then when you abstract it and they get cut up, they look exactly like block numbers. And in the original blueprints, that was the point. I kept them on there because it was like an archive number in a library is basically a block height. It's an old form of block height, right? It's a stamp to say this is the number it went in, this is the time it went in, this is the order of the archive. Like it is basically a block height. And so yeah, so you've read that completely perfectly.
Okay,
It's
got it.
that's where it's from.
Wow.
If you go all the way down, you'll see the rest of the series. And I've also sent you. So these are the original blueprints. You can
These
see
are
those there.
Yeah.
And then you can see all the other works. These are the other works here.
Wow. Okay, then we can see the same
similar thing. So that's I think this is 21 there.
Okay.
So these are nice. There's some, there are lots of different types. These are kind of slightly more abstract.
We always have this. Yeah, we see. We have this black hole feeling, and the superposition, also the way you're doing this, is giving exactly this feeling also of time. It's, of course, for people who's been seeing some physical studies about black holes, you have always this question about how to materialize the visualization of time
Yeah, exactly.
across space, and we see that,
Yeah.
we see that, it's always like we see like a second one, second two, second three, or
Yeah,
this kind
exactly. It's like ticks. It's like ticks of a clock.
exactly, yeah. And so it's materializing, the superposition of time and superposition of time and space, basically. And I think this is why also black hole are so intriguing, for physicians, and there are a lot of, and that's really, really interesting. And we have this feeling of, where you go, you can come back. And so that's
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, okay, it's impressive. And I wanted to ask also, because the scenography you used to have for the first exhibition was super impressive. You've been using also light boxes, with the blueprint, and I think it works super well because, of course, your work are monochromes. It's only white plus white and blue in a way for the previous works, and now we can see it white and black mainly. Can we expect this kind of scenography also for this time?
I think these works will be prints.
Okay.
I'm even going to try and do them in a kind of cyanotype process. If not, they'll be kind of just traditional framed giclée prints. The idea is I think there's a series of about 10 works. They're a little smaller and they're a more kind of approachable price point. So yeah, I think the idea is to have something that's a little bit more approachable in terms of a scale for collectors.
I see.
But I just sent you, John, I just sent you the link in the chat. Just to see if it works. I just sent you a link in the chat for the NFT, and we can just have a look at it.
Sure, definitely. Let me share it.
We haven't minted it yet, so it's still in staging, but we can see it. We can see it crash and burn. Here we are. So if you want to scroll in,
Okay.
scroll in?
Yeah, I'm scrolling now, and as I'm
so you can rotate around and scroll in.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm
Keep
super
going.
excited, and I was not expecting this, So as you can see, I'm scrolling and zooming and pinching basically, and so I can
keep going all the way in.
Wow.
It's really like you're entering this universe, basically.
But John, go all the way in. Go all the way in.
All the way.
You're not going all the way in. Keep going. Keep going. Go on. There we go.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. It's crazy. Wow.
And now you can scroll around.
It's amazing.
So these sentences are falling out from a massive library of text, and they are updating every block height.
Wow. On September. Okay. Wow.
We've still got a little bit of work to do on the algorithm that selects the sentences.
No, I'm super. Wow. I'm super surprised and super impressed, actually. And I was not expecting this. And now you can see, for people who are listening, I'm traveling literally inside of the work that will be released as an NFT. And it's a dynamic artwork. You can travel, you can basically, when you are outside of it, you feel like it's exactly consistent with the rest of the theory, looks like a space materialization of a black hole with I would say a lot of points that looks like stars or datas from the outside, and you can turn around and you can see this visualization of a circle and the black hole in the middle. And then, when you start zooming, you see that all this dust of lights, you don't know, this, all these particles are becoming, actually are representing letters from the infinite library. And all these letters together also are, creating some sentences that are assembling and disassembling all along the way, depending on the way you are scrolling. So, for example, right now I can see this sentence, to even to death, from even to death, but it's disappearing, and now I can see, but what will you? And now I can see this space came cyber feminism. Wow, and yeah, it's very powerful. It's very strong.
So the fun thing with this, right, is that when it gets fully connected to the block height, either on Bitcoin or Ethereum, then two things will happen. One, over a 10-minute window, you'll basically get like, so to take the whole black hole analogy further, right, you have this black hole, you cross the event horizon, and then like there's this arrow of time, and you inevitably speed up, right? And the black hole shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. And then people have postulated that it becomes a white hole, right? You cross what's called the singularity, okay, which is this moment of absolute infinity. Quantum dynamics take place, and basically you get this idea of like what happens if you bounce, like let's say you cross the event horizon, you drop a basketball, and then what happens when it hits the floor? It bounces back up, and that's where a black hole kind of like it sinks, and then it kind of re-explodes into a white hole. And of course, like, if you're thinking about AI, well, this idea of the singularity is really, really important. This idea that, artificial general intelligence systems could become exponentially more intelligent with every minute, hour, day, second, millisecond, until they get to some infinite level of intelligence. But in all these artworks, like, the singularity is this idea of infinity, but it's also this idea of cycle and rebirth. And so what you're going to see is on block height, you'll see, over the 10-minute window of Bitcoin's block height, that moment of the present that we discussed, right? You'll see a black hole grow generatively using blueprints from the Money to Paris collection. And then it will get to kind of full thing, and then it will collapse again into a white hole, and then it will grow again. So every 10 minutes you get this cycle of like growth and rebirth, but the actual structure of that artwork that you're seeing will change every 10 minutes forever into kind of unending combinations of
But you mentioned it's on the Bitcoin blockchain, right?
No, so basically what I wanted to do was give collectors the choice of how they want to mint the work.
But even on the NFT, like on this one that we just saw, like you can choose to mint it on Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Yeah, you can choose to mint it. Basically, for me, like when you want to discuss time and blockchains, like you have to do it with Bitcoin. Like, Bitcoin was the time chain. It is a time chain. It is the ultimate invention. So I wanted to give collectors the opportunity that if they wanted to mint it as an ordinal, that they could, and if they wanted to mint it on Ethereum, they also can. So that will be the choice that collectors get to make.
Wow. Okay, I'm super excited. And so, people, if you're in Paris first, I think you cannot miss this opening that will happen on Thursday, so March 27. Marlene, when is the opening exactly? Maybe we'll share the Luma also with you if there is anything like this. But at what time is the opening happening?
It's around 6 p.m. from 6 to 9 on Thursday.
Okay. And so, the exhibition will stand all along
for 1 month, until
all the
of April.
Okay, until end of April. And so, just to come to the technical part, also, Marlene, I wanted to ask, you mentioned that so you've been creating these 10 pieces that are more affordable also, plus this NFT edition. What is the way? What is the what is the best way to acquire these pieces? And is there a bid on the website La Collection, and how is it working?
So for the unique works, contact us. Please be in touch with us on La Collection, or to myself directly on Twitter. They can reach out on Twitter even. For the unique pieces. And for the edition of 100, it will be on the platform. So people will be able to buy the NFTs directly from the platform from April 2nd.
April 2nd. Do you already have a price range for this?
Of course. So the unique works will be between 6,000 euros and 7,000 euros. So
Okay.
the work that Ben just showed with the print and the live NFT with this infinite component, they will be between 6,000 and 7,000 depending on the size. And then the edition of 100 will be 100 euros.
100 euros.
It's only an NFT. I don't know if we can maybe show
We're
it.
giving them away.
Well, we decided to do this very grand public, very open edition.
100 euro. Yeah, people will need to be fast.
Yeah, exactly. So for that, it will open on the platform April 2nd, 4 p.m. CET, if people want to log that in. And maybe we could show it. I don't know, Ben, if you have the video of it, of Babel, because we haven't shown that one. It was,
I don't know if I have.
New in the last exhibition, but it was not for sale at that time, and we decided to open it now for this second part.
Okay, and just for people, so if you want to have a reminder, it's April 2nd, 4 p.m., right?
Yeah, CET, Paris time.
4 p.m. Paris time. 100 pieces on the website La Collection. And for the edition, there are only 10, if I'm not wrong.
I think there are a little more. I think there's like 11 or 12.
Well, between 11 or 12.
A dozen of okay.
Different sizes. And for those one, yes, please be in touch with me.
Yeah, a dozen.
A dozen.
Just a bunch of eggs.
That's okay. So yeah, and it's the same. I think compared with of course these are like pretty. Of course, it's to be transparent. Yeah, it's super affordable. Actually, I think it's like I'm pretty sure that it's gonna happen. I'm not here to sell anything, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen pretty fast to sell these pieces, because when we see this and we see the work and we see the way it's created, it's a lot. It's crazy. It's and I just wanted also to just ask you also. So yeah, basically the exhibition will happen. La Monnaie de Paris, you have one permanent exhibition, right?
One blueprint, Virunga, actually, yes, is at La Monnaie as a permanent installation in their room, where they have actually all the machinery related to minting money, making money, which is quite powerful. And also a collector donated a work from Ornament and Crisis, the series you mentioned, John, earlier on the 2000 crisis. So this will be on view as well. So like that, we have a connection between Babel 1, the first part of the show, and the second part of the show. So people can see the new works in parallel with the works from the original exhibition.
Wow. Okay, cool. And so the exhibition, I think you just need to go there, and you can see also. Yeah, I don't know if you have the NFT to show, but otherwise, we will share it with you.
We'll share you the link. You can put it on social media.
Yeah, we'll share the link. So the exhibition is Babel 2. Will happen at La Monnaie de Paris. I recommend you to follow, and we will share all the link with you. I just wanted to thank you, Marlene and Robert, for being with us this morning. I know you've been working also a big part of the night, Robert, to release to be ready basically for the show that will happen the day after tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure that you are in the middle of a crazy setup of everything in the same time. So just wanted to thank you, and just wanted to wish you the best for this second episode of Babel. And so, yeah, for everybody following us every day at NFT Morning, I just wanted to tell you that tomorrow we will be with a really interesting profile. Actually, it's kind of in a way related. It's called Archivist, and he's kind of one of the craziest person I know to investigate about history of NFTs and the blockchain. And so he will go deep. He's been working like for 4 years to spot what is the first NFT of history, and he's crossing a lot of data and doing a lot of investigation around that. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be interesting, and so he will share his work with us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So yeah, everybody have a great day. See you on Thursday, March 27, 6 p.m. at La Monnaie de Paris. And of course, for people who cannot be there, you just go on the La Collection website, and we'll share the link with you also. And be ready for this. Have a great day, and
Thanks, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Cheers. Thanks, John.
Happy. Good morning. Really happy. Good morning. To be with you.